Alright, so welcome to the LA guide. There will not be much editing in this. It will be mostly, as much as I can, just raw footage and continuous footage. But I will try and explain things as well as I can. That way a lot of the new and old slash returning players will get a good look of how LA works and the physics behind how to use the jump jets effectively, both in traversing and in combat. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with just drifter jets at an amp station. So we're just going to be at Paris. So one of the first things that the LA should probably learn is how to pad drift. Pad drifting teaches how to exploit the jump jet mechanics to cover extreme amounts of distance and how to steer yourself in air. So a common thing I'll refer to is steering yourself in the air or steering with your mouse. One of the big mistakes a lot of new LAs do is they try and steer with the arrow keys. You try and steer with the arrow keys, this does something called air braking and you're really slow. So never try and steer with the arrow keys. Instead, what you do is you're going to pick something like an anchor point, and this anchor point is a point that you want to follow with your mouse and continually change your mouse's position to move around that point. And while you do this, you hold the key W and no other keys. You can hold shift as well, but that's just if you want to. So by doing this, we can just curve around this top of the tower here, and we can move at pretty high speed. But if we tried to do that same thing with arrow keys, it's not going to work as well. Alright, so let's start with pad drifting. Alright, actually, I don't know how much I'm going to need you for this first part, Samo. So I'll try and cover it as quickly as I can, alright?
You got it, boss.
Alright, so pad drifting. How do we do it? Why do we do it? What does it teach? Alright, so pad drifting. If you notice, when we just pad drift in a straight line, you only cover a certain amount of distance from one set point to another. However, if we want to manipulate it, we can't. To manipulate it, we're going to take the principles of doing something like this, where we hold shift and W and we curve around a single point, which allows us to maintain and build a lot of velocity. And we're going to do that just in the air. So if I wanted to do this, and I hit my jets at the apex of the climb, we can move pretty far. So we moved all the way from over here, from there to there. So that's pretty good, right? However, if we do it a little better, if we want to balance things out, we can go even further. Alright, so I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to go back to the original pad. And if you watch my jet fuel, you'll see that I don't hold down on it. I'm tapping it, tapping it, tapping it, while angling myself. So that's going to be the first thing you want to do. You want to angle yourself to look in the direction you want to turn and move. So if I wanted to move to the left, I look to the left. If I want to look to the right, I'm going to move to the right. And so that's going to be the first part of LA that you got to get down. You look in the direction you want to travel. You don't angle, you don't use your arrow keys to move in the direction of travel. You look in the direction you want to travel. This gives you a slightly curved path, and this curved path, while it might take a little more distance to reach your target, you're going to get there faster just because you're moving faster yourself. Oh dang, someone just turned it to nighttime. Alright, so next thing we're going to go over is air braking. So as you saw before, if we just do a few things, hold shift, hold W, look left or right, and continuously change how severely we look left or right, and tap our spacebar, we can drift a really far distance. However, if we want to stop, there's a really easy way to do that. And there's two ways. We can either hold spacebar and hold a left or right arrow key, and this will slow your momentum. So there's that. You can just do something like this. See how you kill your momentum just doing that? When I'm doing that, all I'm doing is holding the D key. Holding the D key, holding the space bar, and just turning a little, and that kills my momentum. But there's another way you can do it. That's just you get on a pad, hit space bar, look 180, and if you're holding W, you'll kill your momentum as well. So these are different ways to do this. And so because you can do a 180 and just immediately kill your momentum if you're holding spacebar, there's really no reason for you to ever hold the arrow keys while flying. You just manipulate where your mouse is looking while holding W, and you'll change your direction. Alright, so the next thing is, you're seeing these pad drifts from one tower to another, and you're wondering, it's kind of hard to get from place to place, how do you do that? So, for beginners, the one thing I would recommend is using your mini-map. If you enlarge it while you're moving, you can see which way you're traveling, and you can modify your path depending on where you want to go. But once you start getting the hang of things, you're going to be able to do this just naturally. You can go from pad to pad, and you'll know which pad you want to go to, and you'll be able to know how much you need to stay on the spacebar, how long you need to be on it, and you'll just be able to get there immediately. Alright, so let's go over a quick point. I'm using drifter jets right now, and I'm moving really far distances, but can this be done with other types of jets? And the answer is yes. The reason I'm able to go so far is not because of the jet itself. While drifters have a lot of fuel, which means you can go further than the other jets, the same core principles behind them apply to every other type of jet. So if I were to switch to Skirmishers, I would be able to do a lot of the same drifts, applying the same principles, looking to the left or right, holding the W key, holding shift, and then tapping on spacebar. Like so. And now, if I used ambushers, I wouldn't be able to go as far, but it can still be done. So let me do that next. Alright, so with ambushers, you only get one burst, so you can't change your momentum or your direction multiple times, where like you just tap on the spacebar and you keep changing direction. You only have one chance to change it. So if I went on a pad and I absorbed lots of velocity, I could change it and I could drift somewhere else. So I just went from all the way over there, and instead of going, or right here, instead of going to this pad, went all the way to a triple stack. So another quick point, as you can see, when you use these bounce pads, you don't take any fall damage after you hit the ground. So there's one thing you should remember. If you touch a bounce pad or a grav lift like this, all fall damage is negated for a certain amount of time. So I'm just going to fall off. No fall damage. So that's going to be something really big. Alright, so last thing I'm going to demonstrate is Icarus. I can do the exact same thing I've been doing with skirmishers and drifters. And ambushers. Alright, so I'm going to go from here. Let's see how far I can get. Alright, so it wasn't a perfect drift, but I got almost to the same exact place as I did with using drifters and skirmishers. This shows the type of jet does not matter as much as the mechanics that affect each of the jets themselves, because the mechanics that affect each of the jets are the same. And these mechanics are that horizontal movement builds momentum and maintains momentum faster and stronger than moving in a straight line. Moving in a straight line is really slow, and it's a really common mistake of most new LAs. And so that's the one thing you need to really drill into yourself. Moving sideways allows you to move faster, or pointing yourself sideways, really. Alright, so the next thing we're going to cover is we're just going to demonstrate how this horizontal movement is faster. So there's a really good guide by Iridar on this. I'm going to lightly touch over it with the help of Samo. But if you want an in-depth, like scientific kind of look at it, where you get a measurement of the amount of feet that people travel comparatively, moving just straight or looking to the side, Iridar's guide is really good, and I'll put a link in the description below. Alright, go ahead and go. Okay, I'm going to try and move in the same direction as him. Alright, so Samo moved that distance. Now we're going to do it looking to the left and right. Alright, so we moved a bit further. So this is not the best example, but it does show that looking to the left and right does maintain and build momentum faster. Plus another thing I did, and this will also reveal another part of the jump jet mechanics: letting yourself fall before activating your jets. If you let yourself fall before activating your jets, you're going to build momentum faster than if you just tried to do it from the beginning. You just activated before falling. And now why is that? Well, it's because your downward momentum starts getting converted into horizontal momentum. So if you move down and you hit your jets, some of the momentum that you got from moving down is going to be translated into momentum carrying you forward. And so let's see here. Let's actually go to another place and let's find a good slope to show this on. Alright, so let's demonstrate that converting your downward momentum actually moves you faster. So the point of this exercise is you want to activate your jump jets right before hitting the ground, and you're going to bounce off of them. So you see, I'm moving really fast down that hill, and that's just me glancing off of the rocks, converting some of my downward momentum into forward momentum. So to pronounce this further, I'm going to use Icarus, and you're going to see a huge change. Because one of the gimmicks with Icarus is that they themselves don't produce much horizontal momentum. It's mostly just vertical. You go straight up, but you do it really, really fast. However, you can move extremely fast with these sideways if you just convert that momentum. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so you see it's a quick up, down, and it gives you quite a bit of momentum. Alright, we're going to do it on this slope right here. Going to jump, hit it again. That was really fast, right? Now let's look at, okay, what if I didn't glance off that hill? What if these jets are actually good and you're just an idiot? Well, if you just watch it here, no, you can't move forward like that. They barely produce any horizontal momentum. You have to build it yourself by looking to the left and right and converting downward momentum into forward momentum. And that just sums up the big point that all jets rely on the same exact mechanics. Anything I do with Icarus, Skirmishers, Ambushers, Drifters, it applies to each of the other ones. Alright, so let's see here. Oh, alright, so let's quickly go over this point. If you pull Drifters, you'll see an interesting thing. If you hold the W key with Drifters, you move down slightly. You don't move up. You're going to slowly get closer and closer to the ground. So you might ask, okay, how do we move up? Well, you just stay off the W key. If you just hold spacebar, you're going to move up with Drifters, right? Well, that same principle is applied to every other type of jet, but it's just not going to be as pronounced. And this is part of the whole thing that each jet is the same exact jet, but with different attributes more pronounced than others. Alright, let us move on. Let's see here. Alright, so now we're gonna quickly go over just traversal with jump jets. So we're gonna go through this base, and I'm just gonna move through the base to kind of show an example of how I might move through a base. And then we're gonna go over why I do some of the things I do and how that might apply. So there it was with skirmishers. And so as you watch me traverse through a base, you're going to notice a few things. I try and look left or right in the direction I want to go, and it's going to pull me in that direction pretty quickly. And that's also going to conserve a lot more of your fuel, so you're going to have more air time than others. And that's just with skirmishers. And so with skirmishers, you're going to get a good balance of vertical and horizontal movement. Now drifters, not the same. You're going to use stairs to climb, and you're going to just try and move really fast. So you're going to make curved paths a lot, and you can curve around really large objects. You can air brake to quickly stop. And yeah. Alright, so now we're going to go through ambushers. Now ambushers, a lot of people I see use them with safe fall and stuff like that. Not needed. If you use safe fall with ambushers, it's usually because you're just not creative enough. Now there are cases where it can be really good, but most of the time, any fall damage you take with ambushers can be negated by just using a little common sense or being slightly creative. So let's go through this. So first thing, we're going to take a little curved path, curve around that object, and we just curve up onto a place. Now here, I run into that side. What does that do? Kills my momentum, make sure I don't take fall damage. Here, I'm going to use ambushers on the way down from falling, and if you use them on the way down, what you notice is it cancels out some of your downward falling, and you're going to take less fall damage. Alright, so now let's use them just kind of on open ground, and let's see how much fall damage we take. So there we took some. Here we didn't take any. Here we took a larger amount. Alright, so what if we want to negate some of this? We either aim for higher obstacles, or you want to aim for something horizontal for you to bounce off of. So, if we wanted to use them, you have this over here. Quickly look at it, and I can use it to slightly break my fall. And here's another thing with ambushers. You might notice you can do small hops and large hops. And if you just kind of tap and don't hold down spacebar, you'll do a small hop. But if you hold spacebar down with ambushers, you're going to go a much further distance. So that's something good to keep in mind. You have slight control over how far you go with ambushers. And if you just notice, it is possible to curve around objects with ambushers. You just have to follow the same exact principles you're using with each other type of jet. Alright, so now we're going to go through Icarus. And that will sum up this. So we can quickly go up here. Jump over. We wanted to. A really good part of Icarus is you can quickly climb up to really tall objects. Oh, there's a branch there. Curve down. Alright. So there we go. That's just what some different traversals you can do at bases, given different types of jets. It's just more of an example of, alright, so we know the mechanics behind movement, how do we start applying them to traversing? And later we'll get into how do we apply it to fighting people. Alright, so next section of the video is going to be the styles of playing LA. So we're going to go to a biolab for this. Alright, so there are two main styles of playing LA, and most people fall somewhere in between this as kind of a spectrum. The two styles will be slow play LA and a fast play LA, or a percher or a peaker. So what do I mean by perching and peaking? So by perching, what I mean is playing on rooftops usually and managing angles. So the biolab example would be like this. You can perch here, you can fight LAs here. For perching, you could also move over here, and you would aim duel people over here, or pick off unsuspecting people there. You can play around the central tower, and go up here, shoot down, or use these right here, shoot down. A lot of it will depend on how you want to... A lot of this slow play LA just depends on getting into 1v1 aim duels, using cover to your advantage, and predicting where people are going to be. That way you can move to counter them. Alright, so then if that's slow play LA, which I'll expand on more later, what is a perching LA? I mean a peaking LA. So peaking LA is someone who loves the forward momentum of a battle. They're going to thrive when the battle lines are shifting majorly. And why is that? It's because they're the ones trying to do the shifting. You're going to be the one in the front lines, and you're going to be the one peeking through doorways, trying to make sure things are clear. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using the cone of fire of your carbine in the air, and you'll be using that as an advantage with your jets to move fast, have the kind of high ground advantage to hit easy headshots with hip fire, and just it's mostly just exploiting the client side as well. So let's quickly go over client side actually before I talk about that point. Alright, so one thing of client side is, let's say Samo's over there and he wants to peek me through a doorway. So Samo, if you want to use a client side peek, go ahead and do that. Just run through, do a run peek or something, and then fire at me. Just do like 2 shots.
Ceasefire, I'm a friendly.
Alright, so what is client-side peeking? So client-side peeking is you take your network ping, server latency, add those together. That's the amount of time you have to see a scene on your screen before someone else sees it on their screen. So what does that mean? Well, if I peek a doorway like this, I'm going to see people in it before they see me. And if I stay in hip fire and I'm using my jets really quickly, they're not going to have much time to react. I'm going to have all the time I need to hit headshots, and I can get some easy damage on them. That also means if I went into a doorway and I wanted to exploit this, you use your jets, keep yourself fast and mobile, use your hip fire, you never have to aim down sights, so you don't have to waste any of your client side peek on the time it takes to aim down sights. You just get right in and use your hip fire and start hitting shots immediately. Alright. So let's start talking about kind of the more in-depths of each of these styles. Neither are inherently better. What I find is that as an individual player, peeking is way more fun and to me more effective as just playing in a small squad of people who aren't really coordinated. But as a slow player percher, I find that that's more effective playing with an organized squad. You have the high ground usually, you're not usually playing like indoors or trying to peek people like heavies and stuff like that. You're dueling a lot of other LAs, or you're looking down on the ground and going, okay, there's this many people down here, you're spotting them, you're giving input to your squad. You're a source of lots of intel, and you keep the roofs clear. Alright, so let's go over, okay, so if I wanted to play slow play, how does that look? So we'll go through different videos of people playing as a slow play LA later, but for now we're just going to use this powerhouse as an example. Alright, so slow play LA, a lot of time you're going to be aimed down sights. You're going to be aimed down sights trying to get positions on the rooftops to counter either people on the ground or other people up on the rooftop. So what does that look like? Well, if I wanted to play as a percher over here, I would fight over here, and I could peek people either down this lane, over there in these boxes, or anywhere down this valley. And then I could swing around and bait someone, and I could fight them right here. Or I could swing around again, and I could fight someone over here. I could fight people over here. It's a lot of switching angles to counter where someone else might move, trying to hit your headshots and get easy damage on people who might not be looking. And so you're just going to do a lot of angle play. Alright, so that's a lot of the angle play. And let's go over just some angles that people aren't going to expect. So a lot of the time, you're probably going to take damage from people with only their head exposed. You wonder why. That is because bullets originate in this game from the head. You can debate about how good or bad that is, but at the end of the day, it's a fact. So you should probably take advantage of it, because a lot of other people will. So what does that mean? If I only expose my head, I can still shoot people. So let's go down to Samo and see how that works. Alright, so Samo, do you want to head up here to the crescent with me? And then try and peek right here, and peek me over on this rooftop. Come be right here. Alright, so can Samo hit me from there? Let's see when he can hit me. Alright, so if you look, his head's exposed, but that's like the only thing that's exposed. I can't really see his body. If you stop crouching for uno momento, I don't think I can even hit his body. Yep, I can. But the big point of this is that Samo only had his head showing, yet he was able to hit me, and I could only shoot his head. Meanwhile, he can see my whole entire body. And that is, so that's kind of something where like you go, okay, if only his head was showing, how do you know you can see your whole body? Alright, so this is proof that I can see his whole body, he can only see my head. So can you see my head from here? And I can see his whole body, I can see his head, I can see his body, feet. So if I'm strafing and stuff, he has to be able to track my head from here. Meanwhile, I don't even have to hit headshots, I can hit body shots if I really wanted to, and still be able to damage him. So that's just head glitching, and that's one of the major things you want to take advantage of as a perching LA. Alright, so let's just quickly talk about rotating. What is rotating? So rotating is when I've used up a spot for perching and I want to get to a new spot. So let's say I've peeked from here, I've killed a guy, gotten some damage on someone, but they're firing back. Alright, so I've procced their aggression here. They know I'm here. I probably don't want to re-peek. So what I might do is I might run off the edge of the building to cut line of sight, and I'll swing up to a new angle to punish anyone that pursues me, and to also just switch up spots to confuse them a little. They thought I was going to come from there. I don't have to. I can attack on a whole new part of the roof by just rotating around it. And a big thing to keep in mind when rotating is you want to try and cut line of sight. You can cut line of sight with the edge of the building. People are going to think you probably did this. Because that's what a lot of LAs do. They just run off the building, they try and get to friendlies. No, you don't have to do that. You can reposition, pop a med kit, and pop up over here. They're looking down, and you're over here looking right at them. That would be an easy kill even if they took your shield off or something. Alright, so now we're going to go over a little of pushing and peeking. So, pushing as an LA. I already went over the client-side aspect of it. You can exploit it. It's going to give you an advantage when you stay in hipfire, because you don't have to take that time in ADS. So that already will give the LA a huge advantage. The other advantage is, let's just do this. So Samo, stay on the ground. Or actually, Samo, fly up in the air. Alright. So if I was going to try and fight Samo, he's going to see my head from here. I can still see his head, but what do I see more of? His feet and his body. So let's look at it from the angle of the person flying. I have easy headshots on the head, and I don't see much of his body or his feet. So what does that mean? Well, you're probably going to target the center of mass, so you're probably going to have a higher chance of hitting his head. Meanwhile, if I needed to swing up and look up, I have to hit the smaller target of the head, and that means I have to be a little more precise. If you're up above them, shots to the head will probably miss and hit the body if they did miss. And so you're going to get an inherent advantage from holding the high ground in this game. If you hold the high ground as LA, you have an inherent advantage. Easier headshots, and if you do miss a headshot, it might become a body shot. Meanwhile, if you're down on the ground, if you miss a shot to the head, you're probably just going to whiz into air. Alright, so now that we know that, let's talk about peeking. If you peek while engaging your jets to get higher ground than others, not only are you going to upset their mouse placement, which will, for the most part, for most good players, be at head level, you're going to upset that, and you're going to just move much faster. So now, let's say there was a heavy in here, he was looking out. If you peek that doorway, now that you're higher than him,
Reloading,
him looking
cover
like
me.
this, he's going to be shooting at your feet or your body. And not only that, but because you're moving fast, he now has to quickly move his aim as well. And that usually means is they're going to switch to hip fire. And if he's using an LMG and you're using a carbine, whose hip fire is better? Yours. Who has a better angle to hit the head? You do. Who's probably going to win that engagement? You. So that's going to be the basis of peeking as an LA. So I've just been peeking at this doorway, but what if I wanted to do it over here? Same thing. Peek there, you hit people right there. Come down, peek like that, peek like that. It's just using your jets as an advantage. So we have these two different styles of LA. How do we know which one to choose? Well, the basic answer is you play LA with the two styles and you figure out which one's more fun. But there's also the point of you really shouldn't commit to just one of them. You should be good at both, and you should be using both when the time arises. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I wanted to attack someone in D point, I would probably have to wipe some LAs off of the powerhouse building, which is that building that D point is in. So I'd play some perching LA, I'd work on killing them, I might have to fire at the tower, kill them there, I might swing down here and fire at people in the building, and then you've softened them up, you make them think that you're only perching, come in, and you peek anyone and you can finish them off, and you can quickly push with your forces to gain a lot of ground quickly. And so that's going to be the main thing with LA. If you rotate between the two, you can do something called mind games. Mind games are making people think you're one way and you're not, and you appear in the other, basically. So if I was dueling in LA over here, and he was over there in those slots, if I peeked him here, and let's say I did this 2 or 3 times and still survived and he survived, well, what if I then just ran off the side here? Make sure he didn't notice me, I can swing up there. I'd swing up over here, and if he's still there, it's an easy kill. He still thinks, he's still looking over here, thinking I'm over there. So, when do I know when to start that push? Well, I know when to start that push once I've usually destroyed a shield, or he's going for a reload. So you want to be watching people. Are they reloading? Did you see their shield flash and break? If they did, you know, okay, I have the chance to push them aggressively. Most LAs in this game, after the shield is broken, will turtle up and try and just recover. Well, even if your shield broke, instead of turtling up, what if you just push them and finish them off while you don't know what's happening? So that's something to think about there. Alright, so let's see here. Let's talk about regaining different perches, or fighting over them. So we're going to use this as an example here. A really popular spot in the biolab is to fight and shoot people from right here. This is a pretty bad spot. There's a better spot, but sometimes you don't want to be at the best spot first. So when firing at people in the powerhouse, maybe I'd fire at them from here or here. I might see, okay, there's a guy over there. He wants to come for me. I need to reload and regain shields. I'll cut line of sight with him. I'll swing up to something like this, And now he thinks I ran away. I now have another angle on him. I have higher ground, and I can get easy shots. Alright, so what about regaining perch? Let's say I need to just retreat. I need to pull down and pop a medkit. You pop a medkit, and you usually want to swing up to another side of the angle you're perching from. So if I was perching from here, notice I popped up all the way over here. Why is that? Most people are either going to pursue you, and they're not going to be able to pursue you as well because they don't have good enough control of their jump jets, or they're going to stay here and now use the perch that you had. Well, if they're using that perch, it's an easy kill. They're looking out, you swung up behind, they thought you would attack from the same angle. No, you're behind them. Kill them. Alright, so that's some of that. Let's talk about maybe over here, this double stack. Say I was fighting over here, get knocked off, take too much damage, swing over. I can kind of hide in this tree if I wanted to, kill them there. Or you can pop up right here, kill them there. So we're going to be fighting at a powerhouse. And so a powerhouse is, in my opinion, or just really one of my favorite buildings in the game to fight at as an LA. You have easy access to so many points to fight at, and you can constantly proc the aggression of people. That's another term I'll use. Proccing aggression means you peeked them, they know you're there, they probably got shots off on you, and so you're going to proc their aggression. They're going to get really thirsty to finish you off or to kill you, and so you're going to probably run off a rooftop, or you're going to confuse them and pop up somewhere else. You can try and kill them while they pursue you. So you're going to punish people who try and pursue you, basically. Alright, so we'll just have Samo in here. Alright, so if Samo is in here, right, what is he probably going to do if I just ran up and I wanted to fight him here? Let's say we exchange shots, right? Oh wait. Alright, so me and Samo fought here. And I figured, okay, he probably has better aim than me, I need to fight somewhere else. So I can swing up right here. And if he didn't walk out to the staircase and try and shoot me there, or if he ran out here, well, if he ran out here, I don't have to worry about that. He's not going to have an angle on me because I swung all the way up here. And here, now I have a new angle on Samo. I can shoot him from here. Let's say I only wanted to get like 2 shots off. Fire twice. He knows I'm there now. Okay, what do? I can run off here, fight him here. Alright, so we just attacked from the same 2 different angles in a row, or like same combination of angles, but he has to guess between those 2. That's 2 more angles, 1 more angle than he had to guess where I would be before. Initially he thought I could just re-peek him here, but no, I can swing up over here and attack him from here. And if the window's open, you can attack him from here. And if the window's open over here, we could attack him from here. So you're starting to see that there's a lot of angles you can attack from. And now you need to start thinking, okay, I have all these angles to attack from. Do I actually have to kill him at any of the angles? The thing is no. Because if this was an actual point, there's probably going to be 4 or 5 people like Samo in here. Okay, so what if I just wanted to get some damage on them? I want to get some damage on them, try not to take much myself, swing up here, make them think I'm going to be over here, and run up over here, and angle back over, and kill anyone over there, while they come up the stairs, and I can right then swing down below, and go over here, punish any medics who go to the revive them, and then let's say, alright, I've messed around too much there, they've got a lot of guys, okay, I'll just go and attack from this angle, and then let's say I take way too much fire, okay, we'll just come over here, and if this window is open, we can attack from there. So now you start to see, okay, we don't actually have to kill anyone at each angle. If we just get them to think I'm there, if we make them play a guessing game, you can get them, you can psych them out. So if you just keep them guessing, where is he going to pop up, where is he going to pop up, you're going to be really frustrating to deal with. Because it seems like you're everywhere. I mean, you attacked from 1, 2 angles. You have the 3rd one all the way over here. And you can get to these faster than any other class. If the windows were open, you have the windows angle open as well, so you have 4 and 5 over there. You'd have a 6th angle you could potentially play at there. Those 2 windows, you have 7 and 8. That's not even counting if you just decided, alright, they think I'm up there, and you've played like 3 of those angles. Alright, they think I'm up there now. I've played 3 of the angles. Maybe I come right here and I just fight them there. Or I run up the stairs and they might all just be looking out here. I'd be going, okay, we have one guy watching this, we have one guy watching this, one guy watching this. And now you're over here and you're like, okay, they're prepared for me if I go either of those 3 places, but it doesn't matter. Because I went down on the ground to the last place they'd expect. So this is just subverting people's expectations. Get them to expect you in one place, go to somewhere else, punish them for thinking that you're in that one place. Keep them on their feet, keep them guessing where you're gonna be. Alright, so now we're just gonna quickly cover when to fight, when to run. Most of the time, if someone's already aimed down sights watching the angle you're at, you don't want to force that angle. You might see them, try and hip fire it out, and if you take too much damage, if you hear a headshot sound, just run away. You're probably not going to win that aim duel, especially if it's a heavy assault. You're better off running away using your jets to pick and choose your fights. So, a good rule of thumb, if you take a few headshots, just run away. If your shield breaks, try and run away. And by run away, I don't mean run all the way to your allies and sit there and let your shield regenerate. What I mean is, okay, I took shield damage from this angle. Okay, what if I just went and swung to another angle? In the time that it swings from one angle to another, you're going to start to recover your shield, and you're going to be able to keep them still guessing where you are. It's pretty demoralizing to fight someone who keeps on appearing in different places even though they take damage. So this is why a lot of LAs you'll see will use medkits. You might go, well, C4 are a good option for dealing with like maxes and stuff. But as long as there's not many maxes to deal with, or as long as you have heavy assaults to deal with them, you're going to be way more effective. Not as a demolitionist, but as someone just proccing every single angle they can think of. If you proc every angle, they've got X amount more angles to think about. Any heavies in the building that are pushing from the ground will have an opportunity to swing up and push through the stairs, and so you've done your job as an LA. You didn't need to get in and kill people, you just needed to distract them. So that's a big thing with LA. You don't have to like kill people. You can literally just distract them. If you make them think that you're somewhere, get them to pursue you out of a doorway, and you use your vertical capabilities to just leave that area, well, now they're all the way over there. So if I was in here and I fought them and I ran out the doorway, I'm really low on health, I need a med kit, I might fly around, and while I'm flying around, someone could literally run out here. And if I flew around, now they know, oh, I'm screwed, because now I can swing in over here and fire at them from there. Or if I really wanted to, I could literally come right back down, and when he runs back in the building, I could fight him there. Or let's say you just ran off the building, and they run off as well. You quickly swing up and swing over. Now they're down there, and they've got to go up the stairs to get back to you. So you can just distract people for, like, just forever, and their defenses will eventually start to crumble. And that's really what you want to do. You just want to poke and prod until you do have a good opening to push in and fight them. Alright, so now let's quickly go over audio. So, Samo, you want to quickly move around the outside of this. Wait. Alright, so Samo, you want to quickly move around the outside of the building. We're just going to go over audio. So let's say, Samo, let's have you move from the ground up to this 3rd level. Alright, so if you can hear, we can see that he's going there, but if you just listen to the audio, you hear the jump jets going off. So in a very small environment, we can use that to our advantage. In really small battles, you want to limit the amount you're using your jump jets. But in big battles, you can just use them pretty much as much as you want, because no one's going to hear your jump jets usually. In a small battle, you'll hear it. So, okay, let's say I heard Samo go up. What do I want to do? I know he's going to peek from this little doorway, so maybe I might swing around, go up and around, and see if I can fight him here. Or if he's still in there, I can just come right back over and kill him here. So now you start going, okay, if I heard someone going in one direction, or if I saw someone going in a direction with the map, how do I move to counter that position? How do I move to counter their movements? And so you're going to start playing LA a lot like a game of chess. Alright, so we'll go over a few other like mind tricks. So one thing is, if you run out a doorway and run one direction, the person seeing you, so let's have Samo can do this. So Samo, you want to come run out this doorway over here. Just run out the doorway and look to the right. Alright, so let's say Samo ran out this doorway and went to the right. Or went to the left, either way, that's fine. So he went to the left. What do I want to do? Alright, well, if I'm playing as a battle rank 10 medic, which way do I think he's going to be? This way. Alright, so how can we counter that? Well, if we run out that way, swing up and over, the reason you go up and over is so you cut off line of sight. Well, he ran out and looked that way. Meanwhile, you're over here looking right at him, looking the other direction. That's an easy kill. So how else can we apply this? Well, you do it at a bridge. If we wanted to fight someone over here, or if we faked just going onto the ground, say I fought someone right here, I then go down, most people aren't going to expect an LA to just go on the ground, but I can swing up over here and fight them there. Or another dirty trick you can do is over on a balcony, like this one at the double stack. Let's say I was fighting someone at that doorway over there, and I ran off here. You can go up and underneath, and if this was open, you could fly up and shoot them there. But you don't even have to do that. You can fly up right here after doing all that and shoot them from here. Meanwhile, they're still peeking right here. So now you start to see, okay, we should start playing in 3 dimensions as an LA. Use the side of roofs to cut off line of sight. You can use the side of balconies to cut off line of sight. You can use the bridge to cut off line of sight. Use all these different things to cut off line of sight and still be moving with your jump jets to a new position to then get a new angle on them. Alright, so let's just go over differences in tactics between good and bad players. So for this, we're going to use... we'll go over triple stack again. Alright, so most bad LAs, or not even just bad, because that's kind of a discriminatory word against them, just learning LAs. They're going to fire from this angle, they're going to take damage, they're going to run away, probably regenerate their shields and attack at the same angle. Now why would they do that? Well, they think they have the high ground. This is an angle that people on the ground don't have access to. Therefore, it's an angle that the LA has access to, but that doesn't mean you should peek it. Instead of repeating the same angle twice, you can just keep peeking new angles. Now there is a place to peek the same angle twice, and that is if you just want to proc their aggression again. If I proc their aggression, fire bullets at them, but they don't come for me, I might just do it again, see if I can get them to follow me out. And that's when you start also learning how to play mind games. This is just coming with experience, really. Alright, so we've gone over all these different things about playing mind games, peeking, perching. Alright, which one should I do when? With organized comms, you'll usually play on the side of a perching LA. With unorganized comms and just having fun, or just playing by yourself, you're probably going to play as a peeking LA, just because it's going to be a little more effective. Your goal as a perching LA isn't always to just break their defenses down, it's to cut down the amount of angles they can attack from, not give them more angles to think about. Usually, you can make them think about more angles, but you're usually going to do better if you're up close to make them think about those angles. People up close, most of the time, people are going to associate a higher threat level with them versus someone far away. Alright, so now we're going to go over buildings, bases. Alright, Sam, we're going to start going over some buildings and bases. Alright, so we already showed playing around a triple stack. Let's go over and talk about other buildings. I don't know what this building is, but I'll just give a few tips. If you're playing around a base like this, make sure you're staying on angles that you want to limit the amount of body that you show. So if you can limit the amount of your body showing and just show your head, that's what you want to do. If you peek from there, you peek from there. If I was peeking on people down there, I'd peek from here, not over here, and not over here. Another thing you can do is you can use bounce pads to get height, fly up over them, and you can peek from on top. Now this is a very aggressive angle, so if they fire back, you're going to take a lot of damage, but that's when you just reposition immediately. Let's go over a double stack. So a double stack, a really good position when fighting people, is going to be here and here. Another kind of good position could sometimes be over here, like that. When moving around, you usually want to dip down and over, or down and over when transitioning spots to people and stuff like that. If you're inside the building, a few good things you can do are just hop down there, and let's say I was down here, let's say actually I was in this doorway, and I wanted to fight people here. I'd fight them and swing up here, fight them there, take too much damage or that's too aggressive of a position, I can swing up over here. Or you also got other smaller angles you can start to use in buildings like this. Now a lot of LAs, they'll see something like this and think, oh, high ground, I can fight from it. No. Usually you want to only stay on the box as long as you need to actively engage the enemy. Because when you're up here, you're really exposed. So you only want to use it when it comes time to use it. You only want to use it when the enemy's pushing. You don't want to stay there. And if you are trying to use it, you don't want to solely peek from it. You might peek from here, might peek from here, might come around. See if you can peek from down below and immediately swing back up and back to it. You just want to keep them guessing. Don't get into the habit of using one obstacle. Alright, let's see here. Let's go to this building over here. Alright, so one thing, this is going to be a better angle than just standing on top. So you have this right here that you can use. Cut line of sight and swing over to here to punish any LAs that might be peeking out this way. You can just swing around the side and pick them off. You can swing around and hit people down low. You can go down and swing up and around right here. Kill people there. You could stand on this edge if you wanted to. Kill people there. Swing down, up. Kill people there. Kill people there. And these spots, it's just quick transitions. I might get some shots off there.
Reloading.
Get some more shots off there. And then I might peek right here. Alright, so we've been going through each of these buildings solely as just an LA with skirmishers. And we'll go over the applications of other types of jets later, but for now we're just going to keep using skirmishers. So quickly, let's just go over other good places to be as an LA, right here. If you want to shoot down on people, try and only be over here. Or you got other angles to work with, like in this building. You can kill people from right there. You can swing around and hit that angle. You've got lots of things to work with. That's the big thing I want to hammer away. There's always angles you can work with as an LA. There's always another place you can move to and keep guessing. Alright, so we've gone through a bunch of different building types. There might be more out there. I'm going to leave those to just people to figure out themselves. Because a lot of this is, okay, I know the jump jet mechanics. I know that I probably want to be a little more hit and run. I want to keep people on their feet. Okay, now I need to use creativity to find that. Ooh, can you put a beacon down? Alright, so now I'm going to use ambushers and Jumpjets and stuff. Alright, so with ambushers, they probably differ kind of the most from the other jets because you have a cooldown between using it. So a really good building to practice your ambusher jets on is the triple stack. So you have this angle right here, right? In one motion, you can swing up and around and fight over there. You can go down in, and if you take too much damage, you can almost instantly get all the way over here, fight down here. And And then if you need to, you just circle back around, and bada bing bada boom, that's another angle. And if you take too much damage, you can fake going down and swing all the way around and back up to a new position. That way anyone who pursued you jumps down and now they're left into the dust. Alright. So that's just quick. I'm going to go over Icarus, kind of. Just a few ways you can apply them.
Compromised.
Oh wait, actually one thing. Let's go over this. Using ambushers, you can go up to here. And then after peeking that angle, you can swing down and around and instantly kill anyone over there. But the big thing with it, ambushers is you just don't want to overextend. If you proc their attention from this window and then you swing around to counter them still looking out that window, you need to make sure that there weren't 3 other heavies over here ready to kill you. And if there were, you need to make sure that you don't peek before you have your jets or near when you have your jets back, because your jets are your escape route. So now we're going to go over some Icarus. Alright, so Icarus jets. You get lots of height from them, but not much horizontal movement. So the thing you'll see me do is I like to usually jump and then use them, because that gives you a little more horizontal when I need it. The big thing with these is the faking off rooftops, or faking off of a rooftop onto the ground is really powerful. If I just faked off of a rooftop, I can touch the ground and still get right back up in a really short amount of time. So you can punish anyone who pursued you really easily. Or let's say we were like over here, shooting at people from here, and I was shooting at people like down there, at these angles here, and someone came up and just started shooting me right there. I could run off, I could swing back around and kill them, because they're going to be looking down. Most people aren't going to be able to adjust to the Icarus gaining height quickly enough to aim at you. Or you can just do it better like that, swing out a little more. So it's things like that. With Icarus, you're just going to want to use the height advantage a lot. But I wouldn't use Icarus to start learning jets, so let's go over that. Which jets should I learn to actually learn all this movement? I would recommend using Skirmishers or Drifters first, and then transitioning to something like Ambushers, and then Icarus. Icarus especially need to be last, because it's a lot of it is judging, okay, when are they starting to hit me, and when they start hitting me, that's when I burst again. So if I'm on open ground, and I burst into the air to kill one guy on a rooftop, but there's a second guy up there, I might stop, he starts hitting shots, I boost again while firing, and then because I boosted again, that'll knock his aim off again, and I'm able to hit shots on him. So it's things like that that you have to start judging. So why do I want ambushers or skirmishers first? I mean drifters or skirmishers first. They're going to teach you your 3D play and good jump jet habits really quickly. And the reasoning for that is drifters, you're not going to build much vertical momentum fast. So you have to make sure you're not holding the W key at all times. The other thing is, if you want to move fast with drifters, you can't be using the arrow keys. You have to be using your mouse to curve your path. Same thing with skirmishers, except for you're going to have more access to the vertical element. You're going to be able to peek people a lot better with skirmishers versus drifters. But you won't be able to see the benefits of you having really, really good control of your movement as much as with drifters. There's a few things to think through. The other thing, when you start using ambushers, use them with a carbine, don't use them with shotgun or SMG. That goes for pretty much every other playstyle while learning the jump jets. Using the other weapons changes a lot how you use your jets, because they play very differently. You don't maintain your cone of fire in air, and with shotguns especially, you have to be really close. And that's the big thing I'm going to hammer away. Don't fall into the trap of using ambushers and shotguns to just guarantee 1 to 2 kills. While you're learning LA, don't care about your KD, don't care about your KPM. Just care about, okay, did I make that engagement? Did I give myself as many advantages as I could? Was I in the air? Was I moving fast? Did I hit them with hit fire? Did I maybe play another angle first to make them think I was there and then hit that angle? Just go over stuff like that. Don't think about, oh, I have a 0.5 KD, I'm doing that. No, because if you think about your KD that much, what you're probably going to do is you're going to put on a pump action, put on ambushers, you're going to ambush her right into the enemy, you're going to get 2 kills because all you have to do is click on people, and then they're going to gun you down, and what did you accomplish for your faction? Probably nothing. You didn't make them think about more angles, you just died. You killed 2 people and died, that's all. And it was from an angle they were expecting. All that happened was you yeeted yourself over there faster than they could react. And that's not generally how, it's not using the full potential of an LA. Alright, so... Alright, let's go over what counters an LA. So, the biggest things that'll counter you as an LA will be Hesh, anti-personnel, and air-to-ground. So when that starts happening, that's when you gotta start learning how to play indoors, and that's a really good skill to have. Playing indoors is really, really important, because you don't always want to stay on a rooftop. Playing indoors, you can be extremely strong. You get the height of people not expecting. You get height, so you can knock off people's pre-aim. You can peek people better than the other classes, because you can move faster and stay in hit fire while in the air, and you can close distances faster than others, so you can peek something faster or get to an area faster to handle something. Alright, the other thing that counters LAs is maxes. If you see a max and you're not running C4 because you're trying to be really effective with med kits and surviving a long time, just run away. If you see friendly shooting at it, get in some shots yourself while in the air or moving fast, that way you can't just swipe over to you and delete you. Just be very wary of them though. Alright, so let's quickly go over handling heavies. So if you saw a heavy and he was through this doorway, don't just engage him. If you try and get some damage on him, you're just going to poke him. What you're probably going to want to do is you're going to poke him and he's going to kill you. So what you probably want to do is you want to try and get 1 or 2 shots off. Just make it known that you're there and that you're targeting him. This will get him to either pursue you or he'll try and hold an angle. And so you might engage him once and you might go, okay, he has really good aim, I don't need to engage him anymore. You go fight other people. Or you think, okay, I fought him from that angle, I don't think he's that good, I might fight him from this angle while he's still looking at this angle. That way you can get an easy kill. The biggest thing with them is you typically don't want to fight them in just one go. You typically don't want to just engage him once and that be the deciding factor. You want to engage him 2 or 3 times, and within those you want to judge, okay, is this the time to go for a finish, or do I just need to power through and aim duel him? And for a lot of heavies, you're not going to be able to. They have overshield, and a lot of them have good aim. And that's the other thing you should start learning to do. Start memorizing the cosmetics and the names of good players. Doing this will save you a whole lot of trouble. If I see a really good player coming down a line, I can either think, okay, I don't need to engage him in a pure aim duel. He definitely has better aim than me. Here's how I should engage him, or I can go, I don't want to engage him, I'll just pick off some other people, cause the enemy more trouble. Or I might prioritize him and go for him first if I see he's in a really bad spot, get the kill, and then just move on. Or you don't even need to get the kill. If you put some damage on him while he's engaged with someone else, that'll be just as helpful. Alright. Oh, let's see here. Oh, one thing. The reason we use medkits as an LA instead of C4 is when you take damage, you don't have really any other way of regenerating. You're not a medic with health regen, you're not an NG with a lower shield regen time, you're not a heavy with overshield, you're LA. You're very breakable, you don't have a cloak to just run away. You have a jump pack to run away, but it's gonna leave you quite exposed most of the time. So, and especially because we're playing on a rooftop, there's so many angles that we just don't account for, And in a game as big as Planetside, some idiot's gonna fight you from right here in the most exposed part and just try and trade with you. So in order to counter that, you fight at an angle, and then you just move, pop a med kit, pop back up, and try and kill him. Let's do the final thing of just creativity. Last point I want to hammer on. Try not to get stuck in any rut of going in one place, fight from one place, figure out to go to another place. And then the other thing is just experiment with your jets. Go to the amp station, use each jet, try and pad jump to different places, see how accurate you can be, see how much you have to use the mini-map to steer, just try things out. If you see a heavy and want to engage him, sometimes don't even try an aim duel. You can do something like this where you just juke. You just swing one side, swing around the other, and do a quick circle around, and you can try and kill like that. Just stuff like that. Try things out. Figure out what works against different people, memorize that, and store that away for later. If one tactic works really well against one good player, I'm going to memorize that, use it again another time. If it doesn't work well, I'm going to say, okay, I should never do that again, I'm an idiot, and use something else. And then the other thing is just, sometimes the best angle to attack from, it's not the angle you should attack from. Each angle has a certain amount of lifetime that you can use it. Every time you fire from that angle and attract attention, the lifetime is reduced. With the kill cam and people just having a mini map to be able to see you, people seeing you physically, you're just going to attract too much attention from that spot. And so this might be a really good angle to play, but what if I wanted to first peek from here, garner their attention, and then come up here to this better angle? And so that's just things you want to think about. You want to stay on the move, try and exploit different spots. If you think that they've gotten really entrenched and they think you're going to be from here, maybe you do want to be really aggressive and go to a really bad spot and just peek from over here. I mean, it's not usually going to be the best thing to do, but if someone's that entrenched and looking at that angle, sometimes the best thing you can do is to attack from the angle that's just terrible. An angle that most people would think that you would die from if you tried to peek it. So that's just some other things to think about.